All right, so we are back again for another episode of Bivy Brink. This time again, I'm joined by my wonderful, amazing, incredible show-stopping co-host Eric. Eric, how you doing?
I am doing amazing, Tim. I can say the very same thing about you. You are incredible, and I'm so glad to be co-hosting this show with you. It's been a good ride for sure. Can't wait to take it all the way to the mountaintop on this season. So glad to be here.
Okay, same. And this time we matching.
We are.
Randomly, coincidentally, black on black. It was a whiteout this episode. We see a lot of snow, but
We doing the
we
opposite.
we we're doing the opposite. We're doing the opposite. They say it keeps you warm, so we're just trying to stay warm this episode as we prepare to hit the recap.
Because it was a doozy.
It was. I think immediately in this episode we see them pretty much get stuck in their tent, right?
Hmm.
I feel like I'm stuck with them. We were stuck there for so long. I decided, tap Pumpkin on the shoulder, be like, Pumpkin, come on, give me some figure calls, give me some twists. I'm rocking a new style.
Listen,
Um, and I really found it surprising because we underestimate the elements out there, on the summit for, us being
they
viewers, but
needed
also them
Storm
being
out there.
out there.
They needed
That's
Storm.
who they
Somebody should
needed.
call Storm because they couldn't see nothing. It was so bad that they were like, "Y'all, we can't even see the sky. We can't see the mountain peak. We can't see what's in front of us. So we gotta hunker down and just stay here." And Manu said they was in there for over 24 hours stuck.
Hmm.
That's a lot of missed time to be stuck. So y'all needed the weather witch to get out there and remove the fog and clear the snow and make the
Listen,
skies sunny again.
Wanda or somebody, Agatha. I don't know if you're watching that show, but
Oh,
get somebody to fix it.
yeah.
Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Put a weather machine up there because time is
Something.
ticking. Like you said,
Mhm.
it started off 11 days with 11 people. Now it's 10 days with 11 people. So they got to keep it
'Cause they
kicking.
cutting it
Got to keep it
close.
kicking.
They cutting it close. So
Very close.
I so before that, they kind of got stuck. We obviously see some of the fallout from the vote last week and
Hmm.
kind of seeing, Pumpkin and Amy trying to shift their alliances and like figure out where they stand in the game, how can they move forward, even though they just lost their best person. And they shouldn't have lost their best person because they both are like, that damn Rob, he a snake, he a flip-flopping in between the toes flip-flop. That's how much he flip-flop. And we just can't trust him because why you tell Jeff, Amy's like, I saw him tell Jeff that he had him. Later on she said that in the episode. And then you flip with the majority. Oh, well, Dusty said he didn't have no connection with him. I've never heard Dusty say that. Dusty's actually said the opposite. I'm still pissed at Dusty. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking at you side-eye, Dusty. But from what I've seen, and maybe you saw something I didn't see, but I've never heard or seen Dusty say that he didn't feel like he had a connection with Jeff. So you just lying. Jeff is gone. What we lying for? What are we still lying for, Rob? It makes no
Hmm.
sense.
And I
No
feel
sense.
like Rob is getting so much of the heat. Oh, sorry, so much of the heat because
Mhm.
of how he moves. Specifically, like if you're coming off as this nice person, this encouraging person on the show, this character
Mhm.
you're presenting yourself as, and when you don't do what you say, it hurts even more because it comes from you, less
Yeah.
so because it comes from enemies. It's like, okay, dang, so and so didn't come to my birthday party, but my best friend didn't come to my birthday party.
Right.
It's like
Like.
a different hurt. Like my best friend voted for Jeff, and
Mhm.
Pumpkin confronts him. Pumpkin's like,
So
how would you
what's
not
up?
do the same to me?
Right, because he's like, dude, I just want to build that trust. She was like, dude, she was like, I don't know. We'll talk. She didn't tell him nothing either. It's like, no, he was like, I won't say your name. Okay, thank you. I'm not telling you the same because I can't promise you that. Because how
Mhm,
can I trust you not to do that to me? You told Jeff the same thing. So
mhm.
if the majority tell you that it's me, oh, I would never. No, I would never. And I'm supposed to take your word for it? Nah. Sorry, I'm gonna be a little hard on Jeff too because it's your fault. It's your fault.
Jeff?
I just can't. I can't because it makes no sense. He's not even playing the game. You talking about we go with your heart. This ain't about heart. This game we're playing. The game is started. You can't play with your heart. Oh, keep me for my heart. I know I'm skipping ahead. Keep me for my heart. I don't need your heart. I
Mhm.
don't.
No, we can skip away. We can skip away. Because
So
listen,
yeah.
the game is the game. It take a lot more
Mhm.
than heart just to win the game. We saw a lot of heart go home in
Yeah.
these very first episodes, either by med evacuation or by vote. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that's something the team
They
values in this moment right
don't
now.
show them. They looking for their next target. So
Mm-mm,
they
and
recruited Amy, Becky
yeah,
Lee, and they recruited her, snatched her on up and made her feel safe. And so she like, okay, I got me a new crew. So I'm like, okay, I'm glad Miss Amy is safe because I really wanted her to be safe too. Because it's easy to pick off them slower people. We've seen it time and time again, but
it
I
is.
think we're starting to see her less and less be the one that they're talking about, and the conversation is shifting more towards just Patty being the one that's kind of alone, which hurts my heart because I love Patty. Um,
Mhm.
I need you to find a different ally, Patty. I love you dearly as an individual. But your boy Dennis, the menace, I need him gone. Patty, I'm
We
sorry.
do.
I'm sorry, but he needs to go.
But I feel like it's so interesting because Patty's relationship with Dennis really plays a role in this episode. Like as they
Hmm.
approach the challenge, we learned
Yeah,
that they have to team up with somebody to pretty
yeah.
much do a vertical climb up
Hmm.
these steep rocks,
Yeah.
right? And to jump ahead a little bit, it's between the last three people is Jeannie, is Patty, and is Dennis.
Hmm.
And Patty's like, "Yo, D, you want to team up with me? Like me and
Hmm.
Dennis, we're locked in." So like,
Yeah,
at least she has Dennis in this case
yeah.
and was quick to snatch him up so that Jeannie couldn't grab him. But I don't
Listen.
know if in the long run it's gonna really help. Who knows?
And like you mentioned, it is like I have to I hate to give this man any credit, but I try to be as objective as I possibly can. But even before they started the challenge, I remember, he pulled Patty aside. I was like, Patty, they come for me. I'm a target. They know I lie, X, Y, and Z. And she was like, just own up to it. Go apologize. Go damage control with Pumpkin because Pumpkin hate my guts. As she should. She was like, but go do some damage control. And he was like, Patty, that's my girl. She gives me words of wisdom. She keeps me grounded.
Mhm,
And I'm like, that's my girl. Like Patty playing the game. She playing her social game is A1. I don't care what nobody say. It's A1. She's so sweet. She's genuine. If you want to learn genuineness, Rob, she's the
mhm,
one. And but I gotta give it to that darn Dennis. I gotta give it to him because he's
mhm,
like Patty, my number one. She's a vote for me. She ain't gonna send me home. And she pretty much confirmed that. I was like, that dang snake. I, he's a snake, but he playing the game. He playing the game. Because if everybody know
mhm,
you a liar and they still keep you in there just because they can, it's like I got to give it to them. But when you mentioned the thing they have to climb, the rock wall they have to climb,
mhm,
here's where I had a little chuckle because like you also they had to pair off, right? So everybody pairing off.
right.
You got a partner? Yeah, here, come be my partner, please. Amy got Nick because Nick is afraid of heights, and so she was like, "You afraid of heights? Cool. I need help with the climb, so let's help each other." Bet. There, he latched on to Dusty. Like, Dusty, I need you. Pull me, get me there. So
Mhm.
he got him. And then you have
We see. Mhm.
go ahead.
Oh yeah, we see Pumpkin and Becky Lee
Mhm.
pair up. That's another pair that we see. Um, and then it was one more pair or two more pairs after this.
It was two, I want to
We
say
already said Dennis and Patty.
Robert
Now,
and Jen, the other Jenny.
yes, it was Rob and Jenny. That's who it
Hmm.
was. Rob and Jenny leaving Jeannie by herself.
Because I couldn't do nothing but laugh because here go Jeannie. Guys, I'm really afraid of heights. I really want to go with somebody that's not afraid of heights. I want to be comfortable. And they all like, so Tim, you want to be my partner? But guys,
Yeah.
I really, is there anybody that anybody? Hey, Dusty, let me come with you. And she was really looking for Rob to pick her. And she was like, oh, Jeannie got a partner. Yep. I was like, oh,
Ooh, you got to be aggressive with it. It don't matter what kind of reason you make up. I can be like, listen, Eric, we both wearing black, so me and you
we
gonna
gonna
be partners, and we're gonna climb up
together.
this
And that's it.
this mountain
Yeah,
together.
exactly. But I didn't feel too sorry for her because, like I said last week, you
Yeah.
went with these people who you thought had your back. And then she said, I thought I trust in the people and I had stronger connections than this. And yeah, and you see what they did to you, left you high and dry, literally high and dry, where you had to climb that by yourself, which we saw how difficult it was for two people to do it.
Mhm.
One
Yes.
with the stronger person and one who's not as adept. I won't call them weaker because if they were weak, they wouldn't be able to do it. But
Mhm.
her having to do it on her own and being as scared as she is and is, a little bit weaker as they said she was weaker. That's not my words. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and literally, as we were saying last week, when it came to Jenny, not Jenny, sorry, Jeannie voting with that group of people, it's like we don't really think that was the best thing to do because it didn't
Mm-mm,
seem like they really cared. It just seemed like
don't.
either manipulation or just like going with the
She got played.
majority. When I definitely feel like we would
Hmm.
never know, of course, but I definitely feel like Jeff in this situation, maybe would have paired with somebody
Would
who
have
was
picked your
perceived as weak,
behind.
you know? I'm
Yeah.
just saying, but I mean, we would never know. Hindsight's always 2020.
Right.
But as
Oh,
they're going up this,
also, this show, y'all so messy because why y'all keep doing these? Wait till they get odd numbers and then want to make them pair off. That's the
yep.
that's what's getting me. Y'all knew exactly what y'all had coming up, and y'all wait till they have 11 players to make them have to choose pairs. It's funny. I love it. It makes drama. I just think it's crazy. They messy.
Listen, somebody got to get left behind. Somebody got to be the odd person out.
Somebody
So
got.
that's the drama of it all. It's like, well, as long as you keep your number one in the game, you safe, you
Yeah.
good. You cool. You got somebody that's gonna pick you back.
Hmm.
But until you don't,
That part.
mhm.
So
But yeah, it's
climb up.
tough. It definitely looks tough. Have you ever rock climbed before?
I have actually.
I have too, inside
Oh,
though, not outside.
okay.
I
So
had
I
the little handholds, like,
uh
that be in the gym on the inside. I've done that a
okay.
couple times before, yeah.
I've done that. It was outside, but it was still like the ones that you
A
kind of have
wall?
inside.
Okay.
It was a wall, right? Yeah. So I
Mhm.
did it when I was in Brazil. I did walk rock climbing,
Okay,
and I rang the bell.
Brazil.
I made it to the top. Yes, I did. I made it to the top, and I rang the bell. Yeah, I did it. But it's much more difficult than it looks. It's
It
much more.
is.
Hmm.
It is. I feel like people always try to, like, use upper body strength when it's
It's
really
legs and
as long as
core.
you can put your foot on the hole and then just step up, just like
Yeah.
with the ladder last challenge, is all about like where you put your feet and then just move your hands, then move your feet.
Hmm.
You can get up there maybe a little easier than just trying to use your arms. But
Yeah.
even with two people, it seems tough.
Listen, they was
Real
all this stumbling, bumbling. I'm like, oh my, even with two people, like shout out to Nick, even though he on my little naughty list too. But when bless Amy Hart, she climbed up that thing and she had one leg over I wish I could see she had one leg splayed, her left leg over here, right leg stretched out, they near doing the splits across the rock. And Nick, with all his might, she grabbed that backpack, he snatched that backpack and pulled her up all the way. I said, I know that's
okay.
right. I
Right.
know that's right.
Listen, he showed out too. He
He
did
did.
that. Like that would be me if I'm on a roller coaster and my phone is finna fall out my pocket. Snatch and grab, because it's not going nowhere. And he pulled her up
He
there for
did.
sure.
Mhm.
But something I saw was trying to pull somebody down was the mountain's keeper when it came to Genie climbing up this
Yes.
mountain. Like we see they have like the handholds that are stuck in the mountain, and then there's like
Mhm.
rope too, of course. But to go alone and then have the mountain's keeper,
Hovering.
spinning right above you.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. And then, okay, so of course they don't ever give us episode where we ain't about to dang near cry, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So along
there.
this journey, we have two it's great because again, I met these two people and they are so wonderful individuals, and you would have never have known to meet them in person or even from the show up until this
Mhm,
point to know that they've experienced so much. And these two people are Theron and Patty. And
mhm.
I adore them, Patty and Theron. If y'all listening, we love you. Um, allies, I'm side eyeing your allies, but I love y'all. But they showed Theron, he was struggling to get up there with Dusty. Dusty was helping him along, and he talked about so much loss that he's experienced.
Mhm,
He lost one of his first siblings when he was in the fifth grade, I think he said, and
mhm,
then his closest sister, who was like they was like two pigs in a pot, peanut butter and
mhm.
jelly.
Okay.
and and he lost her. She was killed by her boyfriend. And I'm
Mhm.
like, and then he says in 2020 his dad was murdered. So it's not just lost, like these people are being taken from you, and the resilience that he's shown, and he's like, I'm here to show my siblings that's coming behind me, show them my sister, my brother, that I'm still here, I'm fighting through it. The person you see, I am who I am because of y'all. Like, even though I lost y'all, they gave me strength to be who I am today. And it was just a
Mhm.
resounding, heartfelt like tribute. um and you want to talk about Patty's?
Yeah, and even just to tap a little bit in on Theron's again, it's like to have that like compounding on you. It's like, somebody throwing dirt on you and you in a coffin, but you're still alive. It's like,
Yeah.
and it's like one thing after another, but you still don't let that be the thing that seals your deal. Like you still rise up out of there, you still
Mm,
continue going, you still be the kind
mm,
of person that you are. And I also felt that heartfelt moment. And then
yeah.
when it came to Patty, Patty talks about how in her life she is somebody that brings in other people. She is
Mhm.
someone who cares a lot and keeps going when it comes to adversity in life.
Yeah.
She isn't someone who really wants to give up when it gets tough.
Yeah.
We see her struggling, who at one point she's like, if I have to fall, I'm gonna fall, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna get right back
Mhm.
up and keep going. I
Yeah.
don't want to stop allow this to stop me from continuing my journey when it comes to climbing this mountain.
Yeah. And then she mentioned the story about her mom and how she got a call from her aunt that her mom been in a terrible
Mhm,
accident and they didn't know she was going to live or die. And she had to drive 2 hours to the
mhm,
hospital, not knowing where her mom stood, whether she was still in the land of the living or she had gone. And she meant this, her mom survived though. And she's like, that's just like my mom, single mom. She fights, she survives, she's not giving up. And so my mom didn't give up back then. So I'm not giving up here. And I was just like,
mhm,
Patty, that's so it's so, I love how they show the stories. I love that it intertwines with what they're going through. Because a lot of times, I'll be honest, I don't like fluff. I don't like the stories. I don't want to hear the boohoo, the cry. I don't want to
not
hear
the
it.
boohoos.
I don't, because a lot of times we see in these shows that we've watched, they give it to us and it's just like, okay, what's the point of that? Y'all just
Mhm,
trying to fill time. But this show, The Summit, does such an excellent job with inserting the personal stories and the backgrounds of these individuals right when they're facing, and they come right to the crux of a life, something that's difficult for them that they need to overcome,
mhm.
and they have these stories being played to reaffirm why they're here and why they're gonna make it. And so I love, excellent job with the editing in terms of how and when to place these stories.
Mhm, absolutely, and I agree wholeheartedly. Like, if I really think it hits every time when
Mhm.
they play it, right at the right moment.
Yeah.
And to continue on that, I think something else hits right at the right moment. Them burgers when it got to the checkpoint.
Listen.
But more
Oh my
importantly,
god, those
yeah,
burgers.
but them burgers. But more importantly, this twist. I
Yes.
think it's time to just dive right into this twist. Of course, Jeannie is the last person to climb up this mountain. She has to go alone. And then the
Mhm.
mountain keeper comes along when they're back at the checkpoint and drops off a note. They race to it. She opens it up and they see that it's specifically for
For her.
Jeannie.
Yeah.
Specifically for Jeannie. And I'm shocked because I really like this twist. This
I
twist
liked
is
it.
that,
It was
when they
instant.
divided up into teams and partners, you had the
Uh-huh.
followers and the leaders.
Mhm.
Jeannie gets to pick which side she's gonna go on, making that side safe to then vote out somebody from the other side. So she picks the followers, they're safe. She picks the leaders, they're safe. And I
Mhm.
have who's on what side as well, but I want to get your thoughts on this twist first.
Yeah. Oh, before I say, shout out to Jeannie. She one of my favorite. I forgot to say this. She did complete that thing on her own. She also had a story about her little kids and her husband and stuff that pushed her to keep going. Like,
Mhm,
okay, girl, good for you. But not scooting her story right along. Like, okay. But shout out to her for doing it.
mhm.
And I would have been like, because when she got up there, everybody running up to her. Oh, it's so happy for you, especially Rob. And she's like, I don't know if this is a fake hug or a real hug. I don't care. I don't want to talk to none of y'all. Matter of fact, don't say nothing to me for the rest of the day because y'all left me by myself. But I
Mhm.
enjoyed this twist. I'm glad, they read. Sometimes the Mountain Keeper, she rewards you for bravery, and Jeannie, you're rewarded with this power that Tim just told us about, and I love it. Not only is it messy, as Theron said, but it's your ability to be strategic, especially if you were somebody who was on the lower side of the game, or maybe someone who was a potential person to go home. If you had a target on your back, you get to
Mhm.
then decide you could potentially put yourself in a very safe situation, or if you don't have a target but you got a target in mind, this gives you all the power to potentially take them out. And so I loved it. I loved it. I think we kind of
Yeah.
mentioned last week too. I was like, what, they have some kind of twist where you have to vote, somebody off and bring somebody back in. Obviously, they didn't do that, but it's kind of similar. You got to choose who you want to vote, whose side you want to be on, and get to vote somebody out. And with what, 11 people, and
Yeah.
that makes it real easy. That only leaves four people or five people to be eligible for, I'm gonna say, the eviction, to be voted out, because one side is gonna be safe. So five
Yeah.
people. So going from a group of where 11 people are eligible to be voted out to five, that's
Mhm.
dangerous.
And who can't even vote?
And can't even vote.
I mean, you almost said eviction because they're on the block
They
essentially.
are-
No
yeah.
vote is up to their relationships, their bonds with people.
Mhm.
And I definitely think it's a game changer. Real quick before getting into it, last thing about the challenge. When Jenny was up there with Rob,
Mhm.
and Jenny's like, "Nope, I'm gonna wait until somebody comes and gets me." I'm like, "That's real," because I'm
Mhm.
also afraid of heights. So if I'm ever in a scenario like that, I'm like stuck in fear.
Oh,
But she pushed through it. I would also push through it. I just want to give a shout out to her in
hold
that
on.
scenario.
No.
Mhm.
No, 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 no. They give no. Because man, I'm talking about I
Mm.
ain't moving. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Get yourself up here. You slowing us down. You the main one talking about somebody else being slow. You was pushing everybody on day one, talking about we gotta move, we gotta move it. Move yourself up this rock. How about you gonna stay here? No, ma'am, move it, or you going home.
Yeah.
But she did overcome her little fear, so I'll give it to her. But that
Mhm,
was
mhm.
funny, 'cause I'm just gonna stay here. Get up here. Get up this rock. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, maybe she wasn't a mountain lion today. She has the cat theme going. She has a cat theme going. But
She's like, I
she
ain't no
pushed
snow
through.
leopard.
You're right. You're right. But when it comes to the two groups of folks, we got the leaders. On the leaders, we have Rob, Dennis, Nick, Dusty, and Becky Lee. And
Mhm.
then when it comes to the followers, it's Theron, Amy, Pumpkin, Patty, and Jenny.
Yeah.
So those are the two groups, and pretty much Jeannie has to make a choice between these two groups of people. In my opinion, it really felt like everybody was just trying to get Jeannie to grant their wish of
Mhm.
safety.
I
Everybody
mean,
trying
name
to
is Genie.
rub her ego, rub the lamp of the ego or the
Uh-huh.
feelings, trying to get you to be like, hey, well, you can trust me. Everybody else on the leaders are trustworthy. Or if it's like,
Mhm.
hey, like, we've been the moms, we've been locked in from the jump, everybody trying different angles, trying to get this wish of safety granted for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. So it was interesting to see the pleas and the campaigns. And like you said, everybody's like, listen, you're a genie in a bottle. And if we can just rub you the right way, we can get
Mhm.
you on our side, and we could, take out somebody. And honestly, going with the leaders, which was Rob's pitch to her. I'm like, you the first one. How you the first one? She asked you specifically to carry her up that mountain. You took Jenny and not
Mm,
Jeannie. And you
mm,
the first person to come talk to me trying to run your mouth, talking about what I should and shouldn't do. You should have been the last person, because you the last person I want to talk to. But the fact that he realized oh, I don't know, this could be a good thing or a bad thing. Yeah, you knew you messed up. You, as soon as she
mm.
got that power, you was like, oh crap. I should have chose her to get up that mountain. Yeah, you should have. Because she was just
And
kind of like, "Mhm." No, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, for real. Like Rob pretty much approached her at one point and was very direct and like, if you don't pick the leaders, I'm going home. And then I really felt like what Jeannie wanted to say was okay,
And I
but
would have. And
because it really felt like her response was like, well, you don't know that, we don't know what the numbers are gonna be like. trying to
Mhm.
play it off, but I really felt like that is what Jeannie wanted in that
Mhm.
moment, or
Revenge.
Jeannie really didn't care in that moment because she knew she
Nope.
was going to be safe regardless. She had all the power,
Yeah.
in that moment.
And I love how Amy was like, "Hold on, he over here talking a little too much. We know he is slick as can of paint. So let me go over
Mhm,
here and talk to her." I'm like, "Hold on, listen. The followers, it's too easy. I don't trust them." She's like, "I gotta save myself." As you
mm,
should. She was like, "It's too easy. They can vote me out, Rob. I don't vote for you. I ain't gonna let." She was like, "I love the directness." She was like, "You can't guarantee my safety at this point in the game."
mm.
Like, so and I love that because you don't even know what to say. Because how are you guaranteeing people you on the chopping block? You are literally one of the two names that is floating around. How you gonna help me?
That's true.
With what
I
power
mean,
and what deed?
I mean, he told Jeff he would he would help him too. Not to keep harping on that, but
Oh, we're gonna keep
it's
harping on it.
yeah. At that point, it's like your word to some of the players in the game as a fellow player yourself is like
Mhm,
not really holding up. And with Jeannie, we've seen in the past be sort of an emotional player, especially
yeah.
when it came to like the first vote and even the Jeff vote. It's like
Mhm.
that's not gonna stick. So it's like how do you approach this situation, right? But ultimately, I'm happy when she picks the followers
Me
because I'm
too.
like, all right, Punk is safe,
Okay.
Darren's safe,
That's it.
Amy's
Addie
safe,
say, Amy say,
you
look,
know.
my faves is all on one team. So I'm like, they safe.
Listen, I
So
wasn't complaining.
me
I was
either.
not complaining.
I love how they each were two. Darren was like, well, regardless of that bench is stacked. So regardless of who go home, I mean, it's gonna be a big player no matter who, because you like you mentioned, you had the Dennis, you had Becky Lee,
Mhm,
Dusty, Nick, and Rob over there. So it's like you taking out a heavy hitter physically, regardless of which way you go. But I'm glad they
mhm,
narrowed it down to Dennis and Rob. Sorry, I'm
mhm.
over yawning.
Yeah.
And Jeannie, I'll give it to her. She tried to protect Rob a little bit. That's her buddy. I just feel like Dennis is a liar. He's a known liar. Why are we keeping somebody in the game that's dangerous? I'm gonna give her that. Very much
Uh,
so.
she
Because
didn't lie.
she didn't lie. Because how many times have we seen in these games, Tim, where people, oh, we know what they're about. We know their game. We know their game. And we look up and they in the final two, final three, and getting
Mhm.
ready to get that check cash for them.
Absolutely, and I saw this on social media. Jenny talked about something else that happened during that elimination we didn't get the chance to see, which
Oh,
was she straight up called out Dennis, like, at the not round table, but, like, at
the
the
campfire or whatever.
the campfire voting ceremony, and people still voted out Rob in this moment. So she wasn't lying, but she became a lion when it
Yeah,
came to how loud she was roaring to get Dennis out of this game.
I love
And I
it.
give her credit for that
Yeah,
because, like you said, you can be a player in this game who everybody's like, oh, they're not a threat. Like, we know exactly what they can do. Meanwhile, you might think that you know, and even if you do know, that still is something that could get them all the way to the end. Because
yeah,
if everybody's trying to keep this person around, and you think that they a goat or like an evil goat in this scenario with Dennis,
right.
it's like that goat will still push you off this mountain.
Talk about it. Listen,
I'm
that's
just
what I'm
being
like.
real.
It's facts, and I get it too because I mean I ain't mad at Rob with him. That wishy washy stuff I can't do wishy washy either. I don't like flip floppers. If you're gonna play the middle, cool, but we know you play in the middle. So because I would play the middle too. Like that's the best way to play the game. Like if I when I play
Mhm,
online ORGs, I
mhm.
played the middle. I played best. You don't
I
know what
played
I'm doing.
villain.
I wasn't a villain. I really wasn't. I was the good middle, like the safe spot. Like everybody trusted me and loved me because I loved people. I was genuine about it. But I knew if I ever I would be make it to the end and I'd be safe and everybody would vote for me to win because that's just is what it is. But
Mhm,
Rob, I just think Dusty brought up a lot of things that was running through a lot of people's minds in terms of him rubbing people the wrong way, being
mhm,
condescending, patronizing people. Oh, make sure y'all put your sunblock on today, kids. But oh, watch out for the pothole. Or when they brought back the flashback. Jeff, this your first time leading, I know, but why are you taking us through the brambles and through the bushes and just so many different things that he said throughout the journey that rubbed everybody the wrong way because he's treating them like kids and
mhm,
they're adults and
mhm.
they just kind of
No
had it
Bivy.
out. Mhm. Right. So, you know,
Yeah,
find
and
something.
yeah, I feel like it really just comes down to this vote being: do you go with the devil you know or the devil you don't know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do you go with voting out or keeping Dennis, the devil you know, or do you vote out Rob, the devil you don't know, who
We may or
presents
may not.
as an angel and is encouraging, but may also vote you out?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think they chose the devil that they know.
I personally would have took out Dennis because I'm all for the threats. Like I'm looking for threats to my game. Rob wouldn't necessarily. I wouldn't feel like Rob is a threat to my game. Like, yeah, you may be wishy
Mhm,
washy, but I don't trust you anyway. But this one
mhm,
over here, this liar, they got people on his side for whatever reason. Like, nah, he gotta go. So I
mhm.
would have pushed for Dennis personally. What about you?
Oof, that's tough because it's like I feel like in this scenario, I'm in the spirit of like Becky Lee energy in a sense that if nobody trusts you and you know nobody trusts you, then I'm gonna be the person who you think that you can trust. So I'm gonna want to keep Dennis. He can be
Mm,
chaotic. He can be scheming and conniving. He just won't be that against me. He can be that to everybody else, but I'm gonna make
yeah,
sure I'm like on his side or one step ahead of him
yeah,
versus Rob, who's like one of the good guys, quote unquote. And it's like if I'm trying to be the bad guy, quote unquote, you
yeah.
got to go. You know, so I think I advocate for Rob to go home in this scenario.
Okay, my bad. We're gonna see. We're gonna listen. I'm interested. I'm ready for the summit. I need to see where these decisions lead these people. I want to know who's gonna regret making certain decisions and all of
Hmm.
that. Like karma came back to get Rob today. Like, well, not today, but this episode. So it's like I
Hmm.
love seeing people get their karma when they make stupid, foolish moves. I love, especially if it's against my face. I love to see it come back and get them. Love it, and we didn't have to wait two,
Love
three
good
weeks to do
news.
it. Love great news. Love it. So them voting at Rob, which they did. Jenny's
Hmm.
the only one who did not vote for him. She voted for Dennis.
Hmm.
Um, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I definitely think next time we might get a double elimination, but some I know for sure
Mm,
what's gonna happen. This twist, I think, changes how they pick moving forward. It changes if you think this person is gonna be last and be voted out potentially, or
mhm,
like potentially chopped and lose their money, or are they gonna gain power? Do you want this person gaining power? And then it's gonna be like, if I pair with my best friend, are we both going to be on the chopping block? Is one of us going to be safe? One of us not going to be safe?
no,
Who knows? So it like adds such a chaotic element to it and makes you second guess and think a little longer about those choices. It makes
yeah,
them even more strategic and makes them matter even more. So that's
fact,
something I'm excited to see. I hope it's more twists like this where things change, power flips. You know, we flip this mountain upside down. So I'm excited to see if that happens.
I agree. When you were mentioning like them having to choose between their ally, like if their allies are in danger, if they choose each other, it was reminding me of Squid Game when
Mm.
you see I didn't put the S on there like black people
The
normally do.
mom.
Uh,
Listen, you know, black folks, we love adding the S, and I'm one person who be doing that. I'd be like, Kroger's, Family Dollar.
Listen, no, not Family Dollars. Now you know it ain't no.
Okay, I'm kidding. Not Family Dollars though.
But
Not
I got
Family
it bad with
Dollars.
JC Penney's.
JC Penney's,
It's
TJ Maxx.
TJ
Well,
Maxx.
the
What?
X, the X is a S,
X.
kind of sort of. X is a S.
Let's see. What's
Mhm.
another one? I feel like
What
we had.
else?
Mm, I don't
I mean,
know.
CVS already got an S.
They already got an S. Walgreens does have an S.
Okay, this is real country. This is like, okay, Nick might know what this is. You know, he's from Louisiana. I'm from
Uh,
Mississippi. Both of them country. We got this grocery store chain called Piggly Wiggly. But some people be like Piggly Wigglies.
oh, it's not
Like,
an S on it.
it's not an S on it. It's just
Ah,
like Piggly Wiggly, but people be saying Piggly Wigglies, like with an S
interesting.
on it.
Huh.
Mhm.
Okay.
But the main victim for me in this scenario is Kroger's. Kroger's.
I thought Kroger's had an S on it. You for real?
Mhm. I don't think it got an S. Does it? Wait. I ain't trying to go to Google now. I can't go to Google. I feel like it does
I
not
think
have a
you might be right because I think I've heard
Does
that.
Kroger have an S? I don't know.
Mm,
I
we'll
could be
see.
wrong.
But
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think I like I was saying with the Squid Game. It's Squid
Mhm.
Games. I'm sorry, it's multiple games.
It is.
Squid Games where they put like the Marvel game where everybody was pairing up with their bestie, only realized that you got to take your bestie out the game. I can see the summit employing something like that, which I would not be opposed to. So I want to see some of these people pick their besties, not my faves, of course. I need y'all to be smart. Um, but then, you know, cut them out. Have to cut somebody else out.
Yeah, that would be good TV and good drama, on the summits. But no, I'm not gonna add an S to that. I'm overall curious to see how it moves forward, how it continues. Let me know if I miss anything or anything else you want to add. Just talking about this episode, recapping it, Eric.
No, it's a really good episode. I
Mhm.
was happy with the ending, the outcome, great twist. What more could you ask for? Great storytelling. Um, yeah, overall great episode.
Yeah, I agree. I was not on my Bivy Brink this episode.
No, we
We
weren't.
might have made it to a checkpoint with this elimination and how this episode played out, but I
Mhm.
guess we'll just have to keep staying tuned in till next time. But in the meantime, while we snowed in, Eric, where can we find you?
As always, you can find me at A Who All Gonna Be There podcast on YouTube. That's my podcast channel. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at A Who All There. And me personally, you can find me on Twitter at Rock N Rollerson, spelled Rollerson. And the same thing is on Instagram, but there's an and, the actual and word, Rock and Rollerson, on Instagram. And then I got so much stuff. I'm sorry.
Period.
Um,
Go for it. We love to see it.
I'm everywhere. My own personal YouTube channel where I talk about anime, sci-fi, fantasy, things of that nature. Like
Mhm.
Agatha All Along, soon to be Superman and Lois. Talk about those things over there at the Ear Chronicles. That's ear, like the thing you hear out of the Ear Chronicles on YouTube.
Perfect. Listen, y'all better watch his recap of episode 7 because I'm ready for it. I'm waiting on it because that was a
It's
great episode
coming.
of Agatha all along. But
Yes.
meantime, Eric, when I'm not sitting in a salon waiting to get my hair finger cooled, you can
Uh-huh.
find me on Instagram at TimStagramB. You can find me on Twitter at He Watches Shows. Again, big shout out to Silent Podcast, which you can find on Twitter and Instagram at Silent Podcast. And you can also catch me on Bryson Wynn Present, making Survivor content, also my personal page. And honestly, I'll be doing a lot, y'all. So you can just go to my Instagram, hit the link in my bio, and you can see the
Facts.
things I've been doing. I stay busy, um, but not busy enough to where I can't wait till next week when I am back with Eric and we
On the break.
recapping Bivy Brink.
I said Bivy. I said Brivy Bink. Bivy Brink.
Peace, y'all. Thanks.
See y'all later.